Welcome to
Walkway!
If you've ever done any kind of grading at all, you quickly realize that it's not exactly cut and paste, okay? There's all kinds of massaging the earth into what you want. Unless you're dealing with benchmarks, elevations on a construction site where somebody says, give me this, which is nice, you always have to do it by eye, right? And so I found that if I have a point A and a point B, it kind of gives me a fighting chance. And that's why I'm putting in all my stonework and my steps first, because then that gives me something that I can go off of. It just makes life easier. So I managed to put in the first set of steps, and what I do is I just dig a hole and put some fines down in it. I did a video on this, but it was one of those touchy-feely granola crunchy type videos, you know, where I'm not talking at all. So if you're kind of like sick of my voice, but you like our videos, you might like that video even more because I don't speak not near a word. So there's always that too, which is sometimes good. So check that out. And so the next step is the bigger entrance. So this is a point A that we're going to be building the rest of the beds off of in either direction. It's kind of like a focal point where everybody's going to be walking in and out. We're going to be laying stone pavers, these guys right here. Okay, just dry stone. And we're going to be laying them on this stuff right here. It's, they call it tens at the quarry. It's fines. It's just, you know, they put it in asphalt. Works real nice. I can build it up to elevation. And then as the bottom of the stone varies, okay, the top of the stone, we're shooting for flush. As the bottom of the stone varies, I can just adjust that by hand, really, as I go forward. So I'm going to be building up like, this is my first of my elevation. Then you get your slope, your runoff, because you don't want anything running back. And that's about it, you know. When you do stonework, you really got to get your head right, okay? I found that if you're anxious, like if you're thinking about time, okay, it isn't copacetic with your overall goal. You're just frazzled the whole time, things don't work out, and even time-wise, you just end up butchering your job. You're like, oh, I don't even like that, because you're not focused. You know, it's like The Last Samurai, too many minds. You really got to be focused on what you're doing and thinking, and then everything seems to fit together a lot better. Like for instance, when we did these, it took 2 days per column. This field stone is horrible to match up. I mean, it's like riprap, or, you know, if you want to cut your teeth, don't cut your teeth on field stone, people. It's awful. You know, masons out there going, finally somebody's saying the truth. Now, this flat stuff ought to be kind of a relief, to be honest with you. But stick around. I'm going to show you exactly the process we do to go through it, and maybe you'll like what you see. If you do any kind of layout, grading, landscape, go ahead and get you one of these. Oh, they're so nice. They're so nice. I mean, I spent 20 years bending over, you know, with a spray can. Insane. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you don't spray paint your rogue tomato plant. Or your wife. Both don't like being sprayed.
It's still working. A little bit. Hold that. Whoa, go back, go back, go back. Go back, go back. Down. No, not all of it. Yeah, you're good. Take off.
Once you have your base down where you want it, you want to start compacting it. And nothing says I want to compact you like copious amounts of water, okay? It's good stuff, especially with these fines. I mean, it just gets it as hard as a rock. After I water it all down, I'm gonna come back with the tamper. And that's when we really get the old compaction action, baby. So you wanna do a few passes, okay? So the water will start standing. That's how you know it's fully saturated. And check it out. See, it gives a little, but nothing like it did in powder form. Don't forget to water your tomato plant. Torrential downpour. Thank me later. Is your thing on?
Yeah, everything's on.
Okay. Next, introducing the arm faller off for 4,000.
Is that good?
Very good.
Okay. Kind of more angles.
Once you get all your base laid where you want it, watered in, tamped down, next thing you're going to want to do is come out with your stone. And in this case, it's pretty cut and dry because I just got a nice big straight edge. So all I'm going to do is run around looking for straight rock. Easy. Good example. Bad example. Bad example. Try harder. So this is what I'm talking about, folks. Look at that. I managed to find 4 really nice big flat stones in a field full of nonsense. Except for this dude. So problematic. So problematic. But we're fixing to take care of him shortly. Anytime you're busting stone, right here. Now this stuff may or may not fracture correctly because obviously there's a funky grain. And you can kind of listen to it and see if it's going to want to act right. And, you know, you got to think, I spent 2 weeks working with this stone straight, so I kind of got a feel for it. But you see that stuff flying off in every direction? The only time I've had to really go get something dug out of my eye by an optometrist is this little stuff right here. Yeah, imagine having a chunk of that in your eye. Huh? Owie, owie, no. So now you got them all lined up and they fit in there really good. That rock did happen to break the way I wanted it to. Thank you, Lord. And so if you look down here, you see the irregularities, right? You got like, you know, somebody's gonna come along and just break their neck. You can't have all that, you know. So what we're gonna do is take and level the bottom of the fines and get it all nice and true, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so Sebastian's gonna help us out on this next shot. So let me see if I can't get my old butt down here low enough. So there you go. See, you just kind of dig everything in nice and easy. And you know, there's a little gap there, but this is like natural stone, so deal with it. I mean, you're gonna have some irregularities, but that's all you do. You just work your way out systematically. Now I'm gonna put another row down, fit it in, and then lower each stone down to where it's level. And you just keep working your way out. As you go, you want to take your fines and put them back in and work them down into each little spot. You know, see how that needs to go down in. Don't get like overly anxious if you can't get as much stone in there as possible, because you know you're going to go back over it with water, and that water is going to work a lot of that back down in there. And then ultimately time, you know, worms and caterpillars and crawdads and stuff are going to pack it full. But watch. This is the part you got to worry about right there. That's a black widow. That's probably the biggest black widow I've ever seen.
Put your finger there for reference.
Okay.
she's pretty.
Yeah. You know, I'm probably not even gonna kill it.
What are you gonna do with it?
I'm gonna take her over here where I'm not. Black widows, like you saw our short on that guy. She was healthy. That lady rather. I'm working out my next row, okay, and everything's going well. And I wanted to take some time to show you guys a little something I've learned. So you got to work with what you got. So if you typically look at most of these stones, they're kind of rounded, okay? This one is the only stone that's like that in the mix, okay? And this one's rare as well. So I could put that there, right? But what I'm doing is I'm setting myself up for failure, okay? So I would be far better off working something like that, because now you see how it's rounded, you know, or even this dude right here, you know. So as I progress, I'm gonna hunt around. I don't particularly like these stones, but I just wanted to show you an example of how this would work versus, you know, something like that. This would fit in there perfect, but I'm gonna have to break that off. It may break, it may not, and I may come up with that, but you don't want to set that in there and then take time to put all these together, because now look what you're going to have to do, you know. Well, this is as far as I got so far. And, you know, you guys tell me what you think. If you like it, don't like it. It's kind of artistic. So the reason I'm coming out in rows is because eventually I'm going to run out of material. And I want to be able to stop it, you know, abruptly. If I was doing this and I had an unlimited amount of material, I would skip around and make it more, you know, hodgepodge. It looks a little better in my opinion, but I don't really have an option because I don't know when I'm going to run out. A big part of doing this, staying in the zone, staying focused, is comfort, okay? So, you know, hats off to my, you know, my Spanish brethren. They can handle heat like no men I've ever seen before. But this white boy likes shade, okay? And the last thing you want to do when you're thinking and meditating and you're like got your groove on is feeling like a rotisserie chicken, okay? Does not help, okay? So get you some shade built, build you a little hooch, take you lots of water breaks, relax, enjoy it. You only get one trip, you might as well roll with it and enjoy it. Ta-da! It just occurred to me that I'm wrapping this up. I'm running out of rock like way faster than I anticipated, which is a factor. If you're ever going to start a project like that, you probably want 25% more rock than you think, because it just fits together so much better. You know, you can see right here where it's real nice and tight. That's because I had options. You know, that's how that works. And as we move out, my options start to dwindle, at which point then I'm having to put in these little guys here, which are fine and dandy, but you know, that's, you know, more work. So I wanted to show you how I actually go about doing this. So you saw me pack my base down nice and tight, and so I'll set a stone where I think it might go, okay, like this. And if you look all the way around it, it fits kind of tight, and that's what we're looking for. And look at that sucker kiss. Isn't that cool? That's what you're looking for right there. And so then you pull it out, and then you just systematically scrape down what you think is the thickness of that stone, like so. I know this is pretty fancy, but I figured, hey, I better show somebody something, or else they're not going to watch anything. They're going to be like, dude, you didn't show me a single stone. Really? Really? So here we are. So, okay, so you could tell this needs to come down and this needs to come up, right? So then you just take, and then you can see where it packed it. That's another good thing about these fines, is you can see where you exactly have to take it out. It's almost like cheating if it's damp, but you know, you're gonna have to work with it damp anyway. My humble opinion. And so that's about it. And then you start packing stuff around. I want that down just a little bit. Watch your fingers, of course. And then I'll come in with this one and kiss this and that. And that'll round out this corner. Groovy? Who's on first? Showing me put rocks in this spot 85,000 times. This is where it gets so aggravating. This is the chicken salad phase. Where you're trying to make chicken salad out of chicken. Something other than chicken salad. Hey, hand me that one. What do you think?
Yes. But is it flat?
Yes. Flat-ish. Oops, I messed up. Oh, babe.
This is why you want 25% more rock than you need. It don't all fit.
And 25% younger knees.
There. This was a lot easier than I thought it would be.
That's kind of going to fit. Kind of, sort of. Gonna take and knock that little nub off right there. Bye, little nub. Later. And you gotta come knock this little guy off right here. Bye. Bye, little nub. This is kind of like how they flake flint. You know, make the arrowheads. This ain't the exact same material, but... See? Look at that, like it's born there. I gotta go down a little bit. Ta-da! Oh. Play a little rock for here. It's gonna have to be thick though so it stays put. But you won't do that. Oh, deuces! I didn't turn it on, you did. Voila! So, some of the more astute viewers might recollect this started out a little bit larger, okay? Visions of grandeur, my friends, visions of grandeur, okay? To be perfectly honest with you, fieldstone does not come flat. It's inherently, okay, at least this stuff. I scour the earth, and this is what I come up with. So, it's a scaled down version of what I intended. It's still good. I like it. I'm satisfied. people can walk on it. We just gonna have to like change gears a little bit. You're gonna have a little bit more gravel. No biggie. So at this point, what we're going to do is wash this down, and what that does is it beats all that particulates and the small stuff down into in between the rock. Okay, so you do not want to skip this step if you're working with fines, and it'll make it just as hard as you can imagine. Even when I was cutting in this stone, I would have to take that little spatula or little knife and literally just scrape through. It almost hardens like concrete. So it's good stuff to work with in this application. Now, if you noticed, I'm raised, right? The whole thing is raised. We're going to bring topsoil in this way, and it's going to come in here and grab the edge of this. This is why I left like about a 2-inch lip right here. Okay, so the topsoil can come in here, and that will also help secure these. Most of these stones are about 3 to 4 inches thick, and they go down pretty deep, and that holds them in place. I mean, you can see that they just absolutely do not move, you know, even these little guys, and they're just like that big.
Okay.
Well, here's the finished product. All you stonemasons out there, tell me what you think. Now, with these fines, it took me all of about 4 to 5 hours to do this. Okay, and I want to show you all the kind of the grade. It slopes away, and you see how off to the left it kind of slopes? That's because that's the grade. Where my rogue tomato plant is the high point. And so I'm going to be breaking this parking area over here, this whole big old parking area, almost got me, on either direction. So that's kind of what I wanted to follow. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed it. If you like it, subscribe, thumbs up, appreciate it. Every little bit helps. It's free, and it's healthy and nutritious. You just catching me dance.
Okay, go ahead.